Who directed this movie? I'll tell you in a sec, and boy are you going to be surprised. You're watching Beyond the Trailers review of The Way, Way Back.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you to leave. You're having way too much fun. It's making everyone uncomfortable. Wow! I'm just kidding. That wasn't even my best stuff. Come on.
Just hold there for a sec.
This guy's an artist. Watch and learn.
And you are holding? Still holding? Just about ready to hold.
I need somebody to do some odd jobs, clean up some vomit.
Definitely.
Does your mom know you work here?
Who's that big guy?
Is this a girl?
What are you doing over here talking to us?
Well, maybe, Roddy, if you guys hadn't called me over here.
The poster for The Way, Way Back features a misleading boast, claiming to be from the mines that brought you Little Miss Sunshine in Juneau. But on closer inspection, you'll see that the mines they're talking about are the executives in Fox Searchlight's acquisitions department, not the producers or directors of those two films. Yet one can't deny that those execs do have pretty good taste, so why not try to lend their street cred to a movie directed by two first-timers? But you've seen both directors plenty of times in a different capacity. One is that guy who must be hoping his crooked teeth will give him the type of distinction that a broken nose has for Owen Wilson, Nat Faxon. A former member of the Groundlings, Faxon is perhaps best known for his TV work on Reno 911 and Ben and Kate. But like fellow Reno 911er Thomas Lennon, he also happens to be a screenwriter and actually won an Oscar for co-writing The Descendants. Know who else co-wrote The Descendants along with Alexander Payne and also co-wrote and co-directed this movie The Way, Way Back? None other than Community's Jim Rash. Rash is also a Reno 911 alum, but after their Oscar win, it looks like the duo has cleverly parlayed that into a big screen opportunity for themselves. In addition to writing and directing, both have supporting roles in the flick, alongside some real comedic heavyweights. There's Sam Rockwell, Steve Carell, Allison Janney, Robb Corddry, Rudolph, and Toni Collette, as well as Amanda Peet and AnnaSophia Robb. Then in the starring role, there's newcomer Liam James. Can Faxon and Rush repeat their The Descendants success for themselves, striking the right balance of comedy and pathos? Those acquisition execs at Fox Searchlight sure seem to think so. They're willing to stake their reputations on it. So this film has one of the best opening scenes I've ever seen in a film. It was fantastic. And it was filmmaking 101. I mean, this should be so inspiring to aspiring filmmakers out there, because it just takes place in a scene in a car. That's all it is, and it's just two actors talking. But it's written so well to have so many layers and depth, and it's acted out so well by the actors that it's a really good example of how, and it's unfortunate that I think today's screenwriters have lost sight of this, that simple, well-crafted scripts are the most impressive. And they allow everybody else who comes in later, from the director, the DP, the actors, the costume designers, scenic design, production design, to all add another element on top of that and to really build something that's impressive. I just loved the scene. I thought it told so much about the characters in a short amount of time, and it set up the movie so well, and it made me excited to see what was going to come next. But unfortunately, though, I have to say, as the movie progressed, the movie became more and more, I would grade it as a rental, because it seemed to unravel to me and not go where it needed to go. And the main reason is because of the main actor, Liam James. Now, of course, he was in that opening scene and he was fantastic there. But, and so because of that, I would have to say, I don't think that it's his fault of what happens to the film, of it kind of digressing into a rental. But it's actually, I think, the fault of the writers and the writer-directors, because they have created a character who, he's a very unhappy teenager, and so his problem is that he doesn't really talk to anybody. He can't open up. And the problem, though, is that he never opens up. I mean, I think a little bit towards the end of the film, but that creates a scenario where the POV character, the main character of the film, the character that audiences are asked to sympathize with, we never get to connect to him. We never get to connect to Liam James's character. We never get to feel that we break through, never see him break through, even in a private moment. I mean, I don't think that it needed to, maybe if the filmmakers didn't want him to break through with the rest of the people in the movie, fine, but he needed to break through to us. And I just never felt that. I actually kind of felt in some cases that I agreed with some of the other characters in the movie, that this main teenager might actually have a serious problem, and I felt maybe someone should get him, someone to talk to professionally. And so and no one ever addressed that. And so I felt it made all the adults look like they weren't doing a good job taking care of him. But on the flip side, the other person in that opening scene, Steve Carell, he just gets better and better throughout the film. I was so impressed here. I mean, the whole cast is impressive. It's really an actor's movie, and I guess it's because it's written by 2 actors. But it's so wonderful to see an actor's movie for comedians, giving them a chance to shine. That's so refreshing and nice, and they really do it well here. And it's such an actor's movie that I think it even borders on being theatrical, like a play. Except, it takes place at a lot of different locations. It doesn't have that closed-in, oh, this should have been a play feel that some movies have, but the writing and the scenes take a long time to unfold in one place sometimes, made me feel sometimes that it was like it could be like a play. But even though everyone did a great job, except I feel Toni Collette really had nothing to do, but everybody else did a great job, but they were really playing the kind of roles that made them famous, so you weren't seeing anything new from them. They were just allowed to just do a really great job. Which is nice. But Steve Carell, I've never seen him play a character like this before. Of course, he's done drama before, or comedies that had serious drama in them. I like Crazy Stupid Love for that reason, and Dan in Real Life I thought was pretty good. I think this movie is actually very similar to Dan in Real Life, that they are both very good films, but kind of rentals. But here, actually, I think Steve Carell is the least funny character, but he's one of the most fascinating because I just love what Steve Carell did with the role. He not only embraced it, he plays a somewhat unlikable character, but he not only embraced it, but he created hidden depths to the character that while the script and the filmmakers never really explore it, it's there. Steve Carell created it to embody this character. And because he was so convincing and so good, that he actually reminded me a little bit of Jim Carrey. And even though Jim Carrey kind of ruined his career with his comedy, his comedic antics, it just kind of went too far. He kind of went into Robin Williams territory, I feel. Of course, everybody knows that for a period there, Jim Carrey was really hitting it out of the ballpark with films like The Truman Show and stuff like that, where he was just, I guess really The Truman Show only was the best, and he tried to recapture that a few times, but it didn't quite work. But he was phenomenal in that film. He really did a great job. And then I think Steve Carell shows that kind of level of capability here. And even more so, because Truman was also a very sympathetic character, and Steve Carell's character here is not sympathetic, but yet Steve Carell makes him a full embodied character, and I just really liked it. So yeah, the movie was enjoyable. The scenes, of course, Sam Rockwell is great, but I think some of the Sam Rockwell scenes actually didn't work for me because it was just so much of Sam Rockwell doing what Sam Rockwell always does that I kind of was like, okay, I've seen this, let's try and do something else. But I had a good time, and I think it is worth seeing for Steve Carell's performance alone. And it's a great rental. I think if you rented this, you'd be like, wow, what a wonderful evening. I'm so happy I rented that movie. Sometimes waiting to rent movies does work because it gives me a great time at home. But I think if you went to the theater, you might find yourself a little frustrated and not really feeling that it was worth that kind of level of investment, of time, of money. So that's what and also I guess time, because you have to go to the theater and stand online, whereas you watch it at home, you can just turn it on and it's on. So I think that's a better thing here. So I think if anyone's looking for Descendants level filmmaking, you're not going to find it here. And I think, that's understandable though. This isn't a George Clooney movie. And it's not an Oscar contender. And I don't think it's even a surprise Oscar contender like Little Miss Sunshine was. This is just a really solid, middle of the road, first film. And so I am excited to see what these filmmakers do next, and I would watch it. And I hope Steve Carell gets more opportunities like this. So those are my thoughts about The Way, Way Back. If you've seen the film, be sure to share your own opinions down below. Thanks for watching, and I hope you check out these other episodes. Bye.